Hello and welcome. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Snehi Shah and with me as always is Ankita Saxena, and this is a show where we are going to be taking you through all the big buzzers in today's trade that are trading on the back of individual news triggers. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at the markets, Ankita.
Absolutely, Sneha. A sluggish day of markets coming in. In fact, Nifty is well below the 25,000 mark. Nifty Bank is also under pressure, but has managed to recover 100 odd points from the day's lows. But nonetheless, trading, is under pressure. And if you can put up the chart for Nifty Bank as well, it is trading with cuts of almost Nifty Bank is trading with cuts of almost 200 odd, more than 200, actually 300 odd points right now. But the biggest news of the day is Snehi, that the rupee has fallen below 84 to a dollar. This is for the first time, in fact, and this is over the concerns that the rise in the oil prices and of course the exodus of foreign money is weighing on the rupee prices, and also the currency decline below 84 is a point of concern. Why? Because the RBI has been defending that level. So that has been a point of concern, the fall of rupee. But let's look at the markets again. Then the broader markets are outperforming the benchmark indices. Sectorally also we are seeing a churn happen there. Nifty Pharma, Nifty Metals are the top sectoral gainers. Look at the pharma names: Ica Labs, Granules, Lupin, Mankind. They're all trading with gains of 2.5 odd percent. Metals also, National Aluminium, NMDC, Hindalco, SAIL, they're all shining away in trade. On the losing side, we see Nifty Realty that's knocked down yet again in trade. In fact, DLF, Brigade, Lodha, all these names are reeling under pressure. Nifty Bank is another counter which is reeling under pressure. AU, Small Finance Bank, Bank of Baroda, ICICI, Axis Bank, all these financial names are reeling under pressure, trading with cuts of over 1.5%. So largely that's how the markets are panning out, Snehi. A somber day of markets today.
Absolutely, but on that note, let's kickstart the show. Let's bring on board our technical expert for the day, Amar Singh, Senior Vice President of Research at Angel One. And from the research team today, we are being joined by Janay. But on that note, I'm going to kickstart the show and talk about a stock that is soaring away in today's trading session. And the one that I'm talking about is Bandhan Bank right now. That stock is up almost 10% as we speak. And the Reserve Bank of India has cleared the appointment of Partha Pratim Sengupta as the Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer, which is the MD and CEO of the bank for the period of 3 years. The board has been seeking a new MD and CEO ever since Chandrasekhar Ghosh stepped down on the 9th of July, and Bandhan Bank has stated in a separate filing that the National Credit Guarantee Trust Company had also completed an audit of the loan claims filed by the lender under a guarantee scheme and said that the remaining claims payout to the bank stood at 314 crores. Two big positive developments coming in for the stock on the same day, and that has bolstered the stock to almost 10% higher as we speak. And we also have brokerage views coming in. CLSA says that the key overhangs have gone and focus will now be back to its fundamentals, and this news should lead to a separate re-rating of the stock going ahead. Jefferies also believes that the new CEO comes with a strong background and the recovery adds to the credibility as well. And lastly, Goldman Sachs says that it removes investor uncertainty around the continuity and business momentum. So very positive news flows coming in. Brokerages sound bullish. Bandhan Bank doing phenomenally well for itself today.
All right, doing well for itself, Bandhan Bank. But another counter which is doing very well for itself is Ica Labs. Amar, you picked out Ica Labs on the technicals as well. Tell us, what are you seeing on the charts? This counter has given decent returns of 25 odd percent in the last 6 months. Last 1 month, in fact, it has really picked up momentum. Is this momentum likely to sustain, and what's the upside?
Yeah, looking at Ica Lab, what we've seen is that if you look at the charts from a long-term perspective, as well as from an intermediate-term perspective, the stock is definitely on a roll, and it's not showing any signs of decline in momentum. Yes, it did consolidate for quite some time, I would say, but that was again a slow and steady up move. And the stock was inching towards the 1500, 1550 mark. That was acting as a zone of resistance for a few weeks. But that was taken out recently, and also on significant volumes. And also what we've seen is that on 24th of September, the volumes were exceptionally higher as compared to the last 15-20 trading day sessions. And again, recently also last 3-4 days, we've seen the volumes spike up compared to the average 10 to 12 days average volume. So that really shows is that there is a lot more interest amongst the buyers who are willing to enter even at the current levels. And having said that, if you look at some of the technical indicators on the intermediate term trend, long-term trend, they don't point towards any major significant correction at the moment. And the short term also, we've seen a breakout So the possibility of the stock rallying towards the 1750 levels, 1800 levels cannot be ruled out. Whereas on the downside, the stock has got good support coming below the 1520. So 15 earlier, which was acting as a zone of resistance, 1520, 1550 zone. Now that should act as a support for Ica Labs. So this is one stock one can keep a close watch on.
All right, that's Ica Labs. But moving on to another counter that is in focus today, and that is TCS, which is in focus. It reported its quarter 2 numbers and has been a disappointment for the street. In fact, it's trading with cuts of 2% right now. PAT and margins have been a miss according to ET estimates, and revenues have been in line. Though, so let's look at the numbers first. Revenues are seeing an uptick of 2.6% on a sequential basis. Revenue in constant currency terms is seeing an uptick of 5.5% on a year-on-year basis, but the EBIT has remained flat and the margins have also missed what we were expecting, and the PAT has come in at 11,900 crores versus 12,040 crores on a quarter-on-quarter basis, which is also a miss, according to street estimates. Now let's quickly take how the numbers have really panned out. It's a weak set. The demand has remained uncertain. The client-specific issues still impact the revenues. The European and the UK business has been muted. India, of course, has been leading the growth, but they're targeting a 26% exit margins. Mega deals have been missing, and the attrition rate has also risen. Now the BFSI sector has recovered, but the overall caution still remains. And if you see the con call highlights, 2 to 3 clients issues have led to slight miss and the muted growth, and the headwinds should normalize in the coming quarters, what they said. On the back of that, brokerages have maintained a sell. Investec and Citi on TCS. On the back of that stock is under pressure today.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on TCS. In fact, on the back of a weak set of numbers coming in, but let's also go across and listen to what the TCS management had to say on margin improvement during the company's quarterly earnings con call.
Our experience is that yes, they're not the profit margin may not be as high as the major markets. At the same time, we've been able to manage overall at the portfolio level. And it's a market where growth will come in, and the kind of transformative engagements we do are very interesting. And as the volume picks up, Kawal, my guess is we'll be also able to manage the margin. Currently, also the volumes are low because of that SG&A expenses in the markets are slightly higher. Our expectation and the way we would operate is as the volume picks up, we should be able to manage our cost and improve the margins also.
Could drive growth in one portfolio and drive efficiency in another portfolio. Our intent would be to deliver a combined mix of growth and profitability in the aspirations which we have set.
Okay, well, while we're talking about TCS, and before we move on, let's address the flashes that we're seeing on the bottom of your screen on the ticker over there, just coming in, break-in. Noel Tata has likely been appointed as the chairman of the Tata Trust. Remember, just a few minutes ago, the meeting was underway, and earlier on the channel, we also interacted with experts to get in their view on how the continuity of the Tata group of companies would look like with Noel Tata at the helm of all of it. And yes, we have the confirmation over there. Noel Tata has been appointed as the chairman unanimously by the board. So that confirmation coming in right now as we speak.
All right, we'll get you more on that as the story develops, but with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.